All right, Shalom. Want to start by saying, Halal, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the positive Israel, aka the positive great millstone, and peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. All right, real quick. So, obviously, there's a few things trending, over the last couple of days, last couple of weeks actually, that have been going on with the small hats in Iran. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago that the small hats attacked Iran, and then Iran retaliated afterwards. So they've basically been going back and forth for like a couple weeks now. That's all well and good. Now, you know, I was thinking earlier today, I was thinking like, yo, the first time I think the small hats, I think they got some of their nuclear scientists. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, it's basically been few casualties. It hasn't been that many casualties, right? So I was thinking like, yo, like, I know it was been had like, this is supposed to be a war. It's supposed to be a lot of casualties, but like, you think about it, like, as of late, like the last few exchanges, there haven't been many casualties. Like, you had the whole thing with Amalek and Palestine and Gaza and all of them. It's been like the body count is like 60,000, but with Iran and all, that hasn't been like that. It hasn't been a lot of casualties. But I was thinking like, because the Lord said, it said the slain of the Lord shall be many. So as of right now, we still got other prophecies that need to take place. Most importantly, the MOTB, Jacob's Trouble, and a couple others. So like, the Lord is not gonna have it to where like it's getting crazy, because right now we're in the beginning stages of the World War III. Now, granted, we personally, you could technically feel like, World War III has started, but it hasn't really gotten to the really nitty gritty of the war. You know what I'm saying? But like, granted, yeah, you had America, the U.S., they just hit Iran's nuclear facilities, but it wasn't much damage. I believe they said it was like close to no damage, because for one, the whole thing is underground, and two, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not really laying it on heavy on each other yet. But look how much chaos this started already. You already have people understanding like, yo, man, this shit about to get serious. This shit is serious. You had the president of Iran. He's over there in China right now, and President Putin, president of Russia, he's about to link. They about to all link up in China. They're going to cash out what they're going to do about this current situation that Iran is going through. Because right now, Iran is being attacked by the U.S. and the small hats, man. Because who's backing up the small hats anyway? America. All right. So I got this little article. This is from CBS News, and it says Iran launches missile attack on U.S. base at Al Udeid in Qatar. No injuries reported. It says Iran launched an attack on the U.S. Al Udeid air base in Qatar on Monday, 2 days after the U.S. struck 3 nuclear sites in Iran. Now, that happened Saturday. And ironically, when that happened Saturday, we had a camp where we had a universal camp, so where all brothers was all together, and we was in a restaurant chilling. Technically, we gonna leave before we did. We were playing with the might have left before we did, but we was chilling, macking, fellowshipping, and then all of a sudden, I didn't see it, but a brother seen a military aircraft, and then a few minutes later, they give the news that the U.S. just hit one of their sites, one of Iran's nuclear facilities. And it's not going to stop with that, because you got Trump talking about, oh, it was a success. Like it was over. Like, Iran is just going to be like, yeah, I got that, we're good. And that supposedly, as of right now, they've agreed on a ceasefire, Israel and Iran. So we'll see how far that goes. But I continue on, it says, explosions were heard in Qatar. Multiple news agencies reported, and photos show missiles over Qatar's capital city, Doha. It says Mr. Trump called the attack by Iran a very weak response that the U.S. expected and very effectively countered. He said in a pair of social media posts that 14 missiles were fired and no Americans or Qataris were harmed. So basically see that peace and safety, because after America attacked their nuclear facilities, they said, well, now is the time to negotiate peace. All right? But it says, hold up. Oops. And here where it gets good. It says, most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. Mr. Trump wrote, I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Now, you see that? You see that? Peace. But here it is. Y'all already struck each other. Now, granted, now you see how they still say, oh, thank you for letting us know ahead of time. But eventually, soon enough, this war is going to get to the point where they're not letting each other know when they're going to do something. And you see how they said, like, now they got it all out their system. Yeah, you really got this dude Trump pushing a narrative like, yo, it's almost over. But yet here it is. It's just really beginning. Because like I said, we still got to have the MOTB come out. And once that happens, watch how many more casualties, watch how much more destruction really comes. All right, now, quit now, since he said that peace. Now's the time for peace and harmony. Hold up. Because that scripture's been ringing off in my mind lately with the whole peace and safety. Because lately they've been saying, oh, now's the time for peace. Oh, now's the time to negotiate, ceasefire, all this shit. After y'all all hit each other up already. Hold up. Oops. Now, this is the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 3. And it reads, I'm reading both versions. I'm reading King James and the NLT. It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And when you go to the NLT, it says, when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, now that's what Trump is saying. He's saying that, oh, they got all out their system. Now's the time for peace and harmony. You had Bibi say the same thing. And you had the Iranians, you had all these other nations talking about, yo, didn't want war. We always wanted peace. But here it is, you got these fucking Americans, these Esau, here it is doing his violent acts, and then at the same time trying to cry for peace. All right? But you go to the NLT of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, it reads, when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. And that's what's coming. The sudden what it says, the sudden destruction coming upon them. That's what's coming to America. That's what's coming to Esau. That's what's coming to 2/3 of our people. That's what's coming to the other nations, man. Because the Lord said, "What proclaim ye this among the Gentiles? Prepare war." He didn't say, "Oh, y'all gonna strike each other and then it's gonna be peace." He said, "No, they're gonna say it's peace and safety." Matter of fact, hold it. There's another article. Let's see something. I ain't gonna read the article, but I want to read what. Hold up. Here we go. Salaki, my phone started overheating. Yeah, I forgot what. Oh yeah, Salaki. Yeah, so my phones are started overheating. But look, yeah. So about so Trump, they've attacked each other. Now they talk about peace. Fuck. Oh yeah, so this is from the New York Post, June 21st, which is, I believe that was a Saturday, because yeah, today is the 23rd. So yeah, the 22nd was Sunday. Yep, and the 21st was Saturday. So it says this from the New York Post. It says U.S. drops bunker buster bombs on Iran's Fordo nuclear plant as Trump declares facility is gone. Says now is the time for peace. But hold on, that's like punching someone. That's like hitting someone square in the face and then saying let's talk about it. That's the vindictiveness of Esau. Because he thinks he could just attack someone, and then when I talk about peace negotiation, let's talk peace. But here it is, you didn't attack these people already. First. And them, you've been threatening them this whole time. Talk about they can't do this, X, Y, and Z, but here it is, America and Israel, they got nuclear weapons. They got the very things that they don't want Iran to have. That sounds like a hypocrite. All right? So it says now is the time for peace. I'm going to read a little bit of it. It says the U.S. military dropped at least 6 bunker buster bombs on Iran's Fordo nuclear enrichment plant Saturday night and hit 2 other key sites, with President Trump declaring the facility hitting nearly 300 feet beneath a mountain is completely and totally obliterated. It said Trump announced a historic airstrike days after the Small Hats initiated extensive attacks on Iran's nuclear infrastructure and military. So here it is. They've already been attacking them. And now they're talking about now is the time for peace. Now, if Iran does on some, they got this ceasefire thing going on, so we'll see how that goes. But at the end of the day, if I was Iran, and obviously I'm speaking as a man, but as a man, which they are as well, I'm like, yo, how could you even come out your face and say let's negotiate peace, and then you already attacked us? You're trying to destroy the shit we got going on. And it says, we have completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace, Trump posted on Truth Social just before 8 p.m. Saturday, marking the first ever U.S. strike on Iranian territory. Now, here it is. At the time, if the first time you strike Iranian territory, then afterwards, the B-52s leave, and now you say you want peace. So let's go back to that scripture. So what does it say? This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3, and I'm going to read the NLT. It says, when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman's labor pains, and there will be no escape. There will be no escape from America's being deleted. America is going to be destroyed. And that's what people and that's what people understand. And this president of America, he's still trying to push the notion that like everything is all good and that America is untouchable. But that's not the case. Because what's going to happen? What's going to happen when these devils get not these devils, but when Iran and these Persians and the Russians and the Chinese, what's going to happen when they really assemble themselves and really come at the small hats in America and NATO and all that shit? What's going to happen then? Like I said, the Iranian president is in China as we speak, because he got to be still there, because it said that Putin is coming in a couple of days, and they're all going to hash out what's going on. That goes into Ezekiel 38th chapter. Where it said what? They should be a guard unto them, Gog and Magog. That's Russia. Matter of fact, let me get that. Matter of fact, hold up. Let's see. Hold up. President arrives in China. Oh, what the hell? Hold on, man. Fuck, man. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with my hotspot. I don't know what's going on. I can't use the internet as of right now. Hotspot is wilding. So what the hell? This shit will start overheating. So hold up. Because the main premise of this video was to talk about how the Lord is going to get busy and how the Lord is assembling all these nations. That he's going to be the one that the slain of the Lord shall be many. Can't even use the NLT on this. Fuck it. I have to go with what I got. So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 1, and it reads, Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and let all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. Verse 2, For the indignation of the Lord, Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi, is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He have utterly destroyed them. He have delivered them to the slaughter. And that's what the Lord is about to do. And that's why the Lord is having all these nations get prepared for war now, having them get their nuclear weapons ready, getting their aircraft ready, getting their submarines ready, getting everything ready, getting everything in place for that great day. Where the Lord said what? He shall sit and judge all the heathen round about. So as of right now, that's why you're not seeing all these captures. Because, I had a friend of mine, dude I grew up with, he was like, yo, you said once they started fighting Iran and that was it. But no, it's not. It's not just that's it. This is good. This is what we need. But it's some other things that need to take place. It's not going to be like, oh, they start fighting Iran and then that's when the Lord comes back and that's when the end comes. No, because when you go, hold up. I'm reading that. Continue on. I got something else. So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 3, and it says, "Their slain also be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood." So the Lord is going to destroy all these nations, all their governments, all their dominions, all their rulership. All these nations, they all live deliciously with Esau. Because the Lord is about to destroy Esau. So it's not like when the Lord destroys Esau, how Moab is going to be able to just do what he's been doing as of right now. It's not like Ishmael, Elam, and all this is going to be doing what they're doing right now. Because when Yahawashi comes back and puts that order and puts that the righteous rulership on the earth, things are going to change on the earth, man. It ain't going to be just a nuclear destruction and then it's all free for all again and y'all can do what y'all want. No, when the Lord has this place destroyed, and when the Lord has Esau taken out of rulership, then it's his time to rule. And he's never going to be taken out of rulership. Ain't never going to be a time where once Yahawashi is back, he's ruling and then he's not going to rule after that. Hell no. There's going to be a world without end, an everlasting kingdom. All right? Hold up. Speaking of Yahawashi, because like people say, like, because when he said that, I was like, yo, you think that like once they first start attacking each other, then that's it? No, it's a process, man. Remember, it's other problems, it's other events that need to take place. All right, but it's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6, and it reads, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. See that ye be not troubled." But you have a lot of people, they're in trouble right now. Especially a lot of these Edomites in America, when you tell them, because today I was driving a client, my guy said, I think he's a Jake, but he a so-called white man, but he's Sicilian, so and he seems like he's very niggerish, but anyway, he got a son that's in the army. So he didn't know that America did what they did on Saturday. So when I told him, he was like, what? He started like, yo, man, why the fuck they do that? And when you talk to a lot of Edomites, you talk to a lot of so-called white people, especially Americans, they're not really happy about them doing what they did Saturday, man. But the Lord said, what? Be ye not troubled. See, they're troubled because what? They know that this is going to brew a war that they're not sure they're going to win. And they're not going to win. America's not going to win. Esau's not going to win. But at the end of the day, none of y'all nations is going to win. Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi is going to win. That's what they don't understand either. Remember, it said that they didn't consider this. This is something they're not even really processing. They don't even think that a so-called black man is about to come with majestic power from the heavens and put domain on earth and put them into captivity, man. Esau don't think that. Well, these regular low-level Edomites think that, but these elites know. These nations have a certain kind of thought process that like something is off, but they ain't gonna think like, oh, the Israelites, so-called blacks and Hispanics about to rule the earth next. All right, but continuing on, it says Matthew 24 and 6, "And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass." Because what? All these things must come to pass. You got people like Catholics, you got these Muslims, you got all these other religions, especially here in America, that they're saying that they want this to stop. But if you're a so-called Christian and you believe in the Bible, you would know that this is not going to stop. Hell, this is what's going to usher in the second coming of the Lord, the only begotten Son that you think you're worshiping. But his name is not Jesus. His name is Yahawashi. So you're not worshiping the Lord. Because if you were, you understand that these things, like Yahawashi said, he said, these things, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So just because Iran and America and the small ass, just because they're getting it in right now, that's not the end. Yeah, it's a step closer, but we still need the MOTB. We still need Jacob trouble. We need the famines. We need the pestilences. We need a lot of plagues to come upon this place. It has to be a time where people understand, like, yo, it's actually over. Because once they bring out the MOTB, which they're going to usher out shortly, all this AI stuff. I seen a post on TikTok. It basically was saying that the elites need global stabilization or something to that fact to justify centralization. So what they got to do is they got to crash this current economy. They have to crash this current system. But they're doing it in a sense where, like, yo, once they crash it, it's like, yo, but we got this in play. And also that's going to be what? The universal basic income, digital currency, because there's going to be no more jobs. You're going to have how you had with the C-19 emic. You had the whole stimulus checks, but no work. But you're getting paid. But you're getting paid how? You're going to get paid to this new digital currency. And also you have to get the MOTB. That's how you're going to cause all. Yeah, that's the cause right there. All this AI shit, all this technology, all this automation. All right, the one world currency. All these nations, all these countries are getting with this AI shit. It says, verse 7 of Matthew chapter 24. It says, this is the Lord speaking. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famine. So we're gonna need a famine. And pestilences. So now they were talking about, I don't know how far they got along with it, but they were talking about cutting off the Strait of Hormuz. And I believe Iran said that the 5 countries in that region that don't basically give no business. One was America, the other was the UK. I think one was France, and I forget the other 2. But there were 5 countries that they said that you can't do business with them in that Strait of Hormuz area. That also could cause famine. That fucking up the oil trade, all that shit. This is all things that's going to bring these plagues. That's all things that's going to bring these prophecies on. But they still think they in control. That's the thing. These Edomites, these devils still think they in control. These elites, they still think they in control. But Yahawah BAHASHAM said what? I work on the minds of the kings. I've removed and set up kings. So anybody that's in rulership, the Lord Yahawah BAHASHAM set them up. So the Lord set up Esau. For Esau at the end of the world, Jacob the beginning of it that followeth. This is all part of Yahawah BAHASHAM story. The Heavenly Father orchestrated this from the beginning before anything existed. This is already determined. The Lord said, well, I declared the end from the beginning. And now we're actually at the end. We're at the end of what? Jacob's captivity. We're at the end of Israel being in bondage under these other nations. So where now the Lord's going to start putting these curses on these other nations. And then they're going to nuke each other. It says, there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. And you got earthquakes happening. You got pestilences happening. All right? Verse 8, and it says, all these are the beginning of sorrow. So, yeah, just because I ran in the smallest, yeah, they're going at it. But these are the beginning of sorrows. A lot of things have to come to this soil. To where people think that this is not normal. Like, oh, something's off. Something's really off. People still been in their carelessness. They're still dwelling carelessly in the daughter of Babylon. The Lord's going to bring that need to care. And everybody, we're going to know, we're going to feel when that moment is like, yo, this is it right here. All right? Verse 9, it says, and this is how shall I speak in Matthew 24:9, it says, they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So what? That's when the persecution is coming. Brothers been talking about the persecution a lot more, because like these devils really had no more moves. So soon enough, they're gonna have to come for the prophets. They're gonna come. They have to come for the men that preach Yahawah, BAHASHam, Yahawashi, because why? They're preaching their downfall. We're preaching the downfall of Trump. We're preaching the downfall of America. We're preaching the downfall of the central banking families. We're preaching the downfall of these nations that are in league with Esau, that live deliciously with Esau. Elam, Ishmael, Ham, Ammon, Moab, Japheth, all your nations are living deliciously with Esau as we speak. But the children of Israel at the bottom. Look at all the ice raids. Who's really getting the blunt into that? The Israelites. You got plenty. I'm pretty sure you got a lot of these heathens that's in America that they're not legal. They don't have legal documentation. They're not going all up in their neighborhoods. They're not going all up in Chinatown. These Indians and these all these motherfuckers. But who are they going with? They're going for the northern tribes, the so-called Hispanics. Because why? It's prophecy. What? It's the persecution of the Israelites. And sooner they're going to come for actual the prophets. See, what they're doing with the northern tribe, that's just pure hatred for Jake. But they're doing that to regular citizens. We're not regular citizens. Right now, what I'm doing right now is will be frowned upon amongst Edomites. But what about what y'all did to our people for all these centuries, man? On this soil, the whippings, the lynchings, the setting on fires, the rapings, rape, rob, and murder. What about all of that? What about all that that's still happening? The oppression, the financial oppression. Last hired, first fired. The little jokes. Remember all that segregation? Well, no niggas allowed. The sit in the back of the bus. All that's happened, and that happened in America. And then on top of that, you got the Romans, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, where Esau ruled. After we came out of Egypt, those small heads today that oppressed us. You devils got a lot to pay for, and that's why Yahawah BAHASHam is on the way. So you can't oppress us people no more, because we can't help ourselves. We can't save ourselves. We're waiting on the Heavenly Father Yahawah to send Yahawashi back to the earth, and he's gonna do it. And he's doing that day. It's getting closer day by day as these nations get closer to this war. Because the Lord said, "What? The third woe coming quickly." Matthew 24, verse 10, it says, "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another." And that's what's going to happen more too. Watch when all these famines and these pestilence, all these things happen. Where it said what? For lack of bread, men shall run up in each other's houses. For lack of bread. See, right now it's still calm, but it's going to get worse, and things are going to get more intense. I'm gonna jump down to verse 12, and I'm gonna read verse 11 too. It says, "And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many." You have that happening right now too. You got people that claim to be Israelites but not preaching prophecy. They're preaching bullshit. Oh, we'll be here for another 30 years. Oh, we'll be here for another 1,000 years. What the fuck? What? Look what's happening right now. You think these devils got another? Yo, think about this, right? I'm 38 years old. So when you do the math of the people on the earth right now, the oldest people on the earth right now would be my grandparents, like 80s babies and whatnot, grandparents. So you have them. So people in their 80s, whatever, some little number of people that's in their 90s. Okay. Then you got people like our parents, the people that were born in like the 60s and the 70s. And then you have the people that are born in the 80s. Then you have the people that are born in the 90s. Then you have the people that are born in the 2000s. Then you have the people that are born in the 2010s. And now we're in the 2020s. They're talking about right now reproduction is going to be low. And that all this AI stuff, it's going to be even more of a bizarre world. So and the Lord said, "What this generation shall not pass away till all things be fulfilled." Another 1,000 years. How many reincarnations is that? Another 30 years. 30 years. That's what, 2055? And at the pace these devils move right now, at the pace of this war stuff, all this AI stuff, you think this motherfucker got another 1,000 years? Hell no. The Lord said the third woe coming quickly. World War III is already upon us. The Lord said there should be wars and rumors of wars. So what comes next? The persecution, all the famines, the pestilences, all that's coming. It's all intertwined with each other. The closing down the Strait of Hormuz, the Yemens and all them saying that anybody that has dealings with these countries can't come through here. That's 20% of the oil trade. You fuck with the oil trade, that's fucked in itself. And let's talk about food, items. You got the whole thing with the tariffs. Remember the whole thing with the tariffs with China and the other countries? America just imploding. Esau just imploding. And we're at a point now to where you're at a point of no return. But here it is, you got Trump talking about now is the time for peace after you done bombed the shit out of them. Even though it wasn't much damage, but you still attacked them. So they still have reason to retaliate. And that's where you have the president of Iran, the president of Putin. They all going to China right now because why? They allies. That's Ezekiel 38th chapter. Matter of fact, let me get that. Matter of fact, let me continue on in Matthew 24, and it says, verse 12, and it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, and that's what's going to come. That's coming too. Hell, it's already here. Look at all these people unaliving their family, unaliving their children, unaliving their parents. There's this attention amongst, and just regular settings at church, school, graduations, 7-Eleven, convenience stores. It's just not a friendly. It's not that much of a friendly place these days overall. All right. Verse 13 it says, this is Yahawashi speaking. Matthew 24 and 13 it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And that's the key, and that's the goal. To endure all of this to the end. To endure the persecution if you go through. To endure the imprisonment if you got to go through. To endure even if you got to get even tortured. We're supposed to endure all that to the end. Man, we have examples. Hell, our Lord Yahawashi went through the worst torture. He went through the worst persecution. And he was righteous. He was innocent. We're not innocent. So imagine what kind of times we in right now, man. That's why the Lord said, fear not. Don't fear when you see these things. Know that the time of night, this is time to rejoice and be glad. Let the evildoers be sad. Let the evildoers fear. All right? Shall be saved. Verse 14, it says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's what we have right now. This truth, this gospel of Yahawah has been pushed throughout the whole earth. Via internet, whatever. Where brothers seeing it on actually walking past camps. But at the end of the day, this truth has been pushed throughout the four corners of the earth due to the internet. You got brothers, you got camps all over the earth right now. Asia, Africa, UK, Europe, that's Europe. But this truth, it said when it's true, it says, and this gospel of the kingdom, or the kingdom what? The kingdom of Israel shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And how are the nations witnessing right now? Because what are the prophets also doing? Proclaiming this war. And now what? They're all preparing for war, aren't they? And some of them are already at war. That's why the Lord said what? Wars and rumors of wars. And we go to the NLT, Matthew 24 and 6, it says wars and threats of wars. So you're going to continue to always hear about threats, but while there's actually fighting going on. Okay, hold on. Well, I had something on my mind. Okay, since I'm speaking on it. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9, and it reads, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, and that's what's happening right now. They're preparing for war. All the mighty men are coming up. The Persians are starting to remember themselves. These Gog and Magog, Ishmael, Elam, the Persians, Moab, Ammon, Ham. The Lord said the day of the Lord is upon all the heathen. And that's the day, every day that passes, we're getting closer to that day to where they're all going to fight each other. And then when the Lord comes back, they're going to fight against him. And that's why the Lord got the whole drama thing going on. So, like, it's not that many people dying, but it's a lot of destruction. It's a lot of destruction, and they're not going to be able to rebuild. Remember, those are not the real Israelites. So right now, all that destruction that's there is going to continue until the Lord comes back. How they going to rebuild when they're attacking people? They're getting attacked. You got these small hats that leaving the land and going to different parts of the earth. Where's that in the prophecies? If the Israelites in the land, you should be there permanently, because those are not the real Israelites. Because the Lord said, what? When a real Israelites get in the land, the nation shall learn war no more. They told nothing but war. They're at war. Because why? They're heathens. Even when you go up in Joel, the 3rd chapter, up a couple verses, it says they part of my land. Ishmael, Esau. Who's up in there right now? Esau, Ishmael, and whatever other nation is up in there. But the majority right now, the Palestine and the small hats, is Ishmael and Esau. But it continuing on, it says, verse 10, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. And that's what's happening right now. What do you think Iran is doing? They're saying Iran is tougher than America thinks. And they were breaking it down that everything that America was doing, everything Iran was doing, they were doing by themselves. With these small hands, they need assistance from America, assistance from this person. Iran is doing all this by themselves. All this by themselves. They said they got a whole front. They got a whole fort ready for war. And that they're really not ready, but they still can't really go toe-to-toe against America by themselves. That's why they need Russia. That's why they need China. What the scripture says? Let them be a guard unto them. Gog and Magog, that's Russia. Let them be a guard unto who? The Persians. Who are the Persians? The Iranians. Pakistani. Persian Gulf. All right, but continuing on. Joel chapter 3, verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty one to come down, O Lord. Verse 12, let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's what's coming to place right now. That's what's coming into play right now. Jerusalem, the land, that's our land. And the Lord said that's where you're going to sit and judge all the heathen round about. That's why the whole thing with the small hat is so important. That's why they all getting involved. Like you had the thing with Russia, Ukraine, but all the nations didn't get involved. This whole thing with Israel and the small hats, the small hats in Iran, everybody's getting involved. Because why? This is the day of the Lord that's upon all the heathen, and it's going to be very calculated in that land, very concentrated on that land. All right. It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And that's what's about to happen. That's why they all going to the Middle East. You got American troops being deployed. You're going to have German troops be deployed. You got all these troops going over to that region. Why you think that? Why you think that the Iranian president is meeting with China and Russia as we speak? To see about what? Doing about what? These small hats. In that region, the Middle East, Valley of Jehoshaphat, that's where it's going to take place. That's where the big show is going to be at. But yeah, man, that's it. I'm mad because my internet was red. My hotspot's not working. But yeah, man, Lord willing, this is edifying. Give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, Yahawashi, BAHASHAM, Rukakadash. Double honor to the apostles of Israel, a.k.a. the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and love to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all true sincerity. I'm Ali Ashai. I'm going to say shalom.